couple of weeks ago, I posted a video where I made a review of my portfolio on Coinbase, where I hold the biggest share of my crypto. Well, it doesn't look that healthy anymore, and that's partly because of the huge drop that happened almost in all crypto coins yesterday. Bitcoin has fallen below $30,000 per coin for the first time since December 2020. Ethereum has dropped below $2,000 and Dogecoin below 30 cents per coin. So yesterday I had to live through a little bit of stress and shock because my situation has changed a little bit, and now I do rely on my cryptocurrency and the profits that I made there, because I'm in the process of buying a house and I hope to use my crypto towards the purchase. So yesterday I spent a lot of hours reading and watching a ton of articles and videos, and I actually ended up buying more crypto yesterday. So today I am recording this video hoping that you will find my conclusions interesting and useful, and I also hope that my thoughts will help you save a lot of time on research and hopefully money. So if you do find this video interesting or useful, please click the like button below and also consider subscribing to my channel. Just one thing to mention before we actually start is that everything I am going to share in this video is just my thoughts and my conclusions that I made. I'm not a financial advisor and I'm not a Bitcoin expert or cryptocurrency expert. That's why don't take any information I'm going to share as a financial advice and use it only in educational and entertainment purposes. So to understand better where we are right now and to be able to predict the future of Bitcoin price, let's look at the past and what has happened in the past several years. So in December 2020, the Bitcoin hit its previous all-time high for the first time since 2017, and you could buy one Bitcoin for $20,000. Since then, just in several months, it hit a new all-time high of over $60,000 per one coin. And in between, there was a period of time when the price of one Bitcoin stayed around $40,000, which is what one coin costs now, around $40,000 mark. And it's funny because I remember how several months ago I was looking at the graph thinking that $40,000 for one Bitcoin is crazy a lot. It is interesting to watch how my brain works now when I see that the Bitcoin is still $40,000, but this time I think it's not that much, and I don't want to sell it at this price because I think it is low. Obviously it is not 60,000. The last time a bull run like that happened in 2017, which was followed by a huge drop when the price of Bitcoin has fallen from $20,000 to $4,000 per coin. But this time it's all different, because this time big institutions and whales are also included in this bull run. Such big companies like PayPal and Microsoft started to accept payments in Bitcoin. JP Morgan and Square publicly support Bitcoin, and even restaurant and cafe chains such as Pizza Hut or Cafe Nero also include Bitcoins. So it's not only Tesla that's buying Bitcoin, although Tesla and Elon Musk have the biggest influence on the cryptocurrency market, but I'm gonna talk more about it a little bit later. Individual retail investors also played a huge part in this year's rally. That's mainly because of the pandemic and the stimulus checks that will probably result in high inflation in the nearest future. So cryptocurrency seemed like a very good hedge against the inflation. But let's have a closer look at Elon Musk and the influence that he has over cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular. And his influence almost doesn't look healthy. So it all started in February when Tesla has announced that they invested $1.5 billion into Bitcoin. And straight after that, they also announced that now they are going to accept payments in Bitcoin. In just 48 hours, the price of one Bitcoin has risen by 20%. But then only recently, on May the 12th, Elon Musk has tweeted that he changed his mind and now Tesla is not going to accept payments in Bitcoin because of its negative influence on the climate change. Naturally, people started to wonder whether Elon Musk really didn't know the fact that Bitcoin uses a lot of electricity beforehand. But just to say on the safe side, a lot of investors did sell their Bitcoin because they have already learned their lesson before. Every single tweet that Elon Musk makes has a huge influence on the price of Bitcoin and the crypto market. It is sort of similar to the influence that moon has over the tides. No one really knows how it works, no one can understand it, but we take it for a fact that tide will come whether we understand how it works or not. So of course, straight away after this tweet, the price of Bitcoin has fallen by 20%. This one tweet cost nearly $500 billion to the crypto market. And all these changes happened in under 24 hours. The influence that Elon Musk has over the price of cryptocurrencies made some lawyers wonder whether what he's doing is legal or not. But apparently it is all legal unless he discloses some insider's information or uses this price manipulation to enrich himself or his relatives, which he apparently is not doing right now, so it's all legal. Even if he does it just for fun, there is nothing that can be done about it. So Elon was the first reason of the current price drop. The second reason came from the news that China was apparently going to ban cryptocurrency. Articles appeared on big websites saying that things around the cryptocurrency weren't moving in the right direction, which of course scared a lot of people off. And this time the price of Bitcoin was hit even harder, and the price of one coin has fallen below 30,000 per coin for the first time since December 2020. Lots of people got scared off and tried selling their Bitcoins, but other investors saw it as a great opportunity to buy something at a discounted price, including myself. And it was really hard to do yesterday because Coinbase stopped working and completely crashed because of the high demand. And even when it got back and started working again, it started to perform all the security checks on me, which is fair enough. Okay, they need to know that I am who I am. But why in that exact moment when the price of both Ethereum and Bitcoin was so low, I ended up buying some, but I missed on the best price possible because of all these checks, which seemed like quite a weird coincidence if you ask me. If you look at the graph of Bitcoin, you will see that these corrections are pretty normal for all cryptocurrencies and there is nothing to worry about or panic. And this is not the first time that I see a crisis like that. Actually, in 2017, the price has dropped massively, much more than it did this time. But this time it is different for me, and the first reason to that is that I'm buying a house. I'm actually in the process of buying a house, which I plan to pay for from my crypto. So I cannot afford to lose more money that I have already lost in these several days. Nevertheless, I told you that I still bought more crypto yesterday, so let me show you just a different side of this medal. So before I explain, let me ask you a question. Have you ever heard before about a Wyckoff distribution? I haven't until yesterday, and when I read about it yesterday and watched some videos, it actually made total sense in my head. So let me know in the comments if it does make sense to you as well, what I'm going to say, or not. I'm going to explain this scheme in very simple and easy words, and I also try to do it very quickly, so I'm gonna save you lots of hours that I spent yesterday trying to educate myself on this question. So if you appreciate that, also click the like button to this video, please, to support my channel. So this Wyckoff thing is basically a scheme that all big institutions and whales use in order to manipulate the price of a certain stock, or in this particular case a price of Bitcoin, to get as much profits as possible from the lack of knowledge and lack of experience of retail investors, small investors. It is not a coincidence, it is not something that happens naturally. No, it's a well-planned and executed manipulation where all big financial institutions work together with the goal to get richer. Look at these two graphs. One of them is the current graph, real graph of Bitcoin price, and the second graph is this Wyckoff distribution graph, which is just a theoretical graph. Do you see any similarities? And another important thing to understand is that it is not one person that influences the market that much. It's a group of big institutions that hold big amounts of Bitcoin, and they have to work together. So Elon Musk, for example, right now is one of the whales. Whether he's working with them or not, and whether it's an actual thing or not, we don't know. But there are so many coincidences that just made me wonder. All these big players together are called a composite man, and according to Wyckoff himself, we need to look at them as if it's one person who sits behind the scenes and manipulates the stock to your disadvantage if you do not understand the game as he plays it. So the next logical question is if it's legal. And well, yeah, it is pretty much legal because they don't do anything, they just use your lack of knowledge. And if you know how this system works, then you can use this knowledge in your advantage as well and play alongside, or to play on a side of the big financial institutions and use this knowledge to accumulate your own wealth as well. Is it the first time this scheme was used? No, but to my knowledge, this is the first time that it happened in the cryptocurrency world, because only by now the big institutions got involved into the game. Like I was saying at the beginning of this video, only in 2020 big companies started to get involved, started supporting Bitcoin publicly. And so imagine a little group of school children playing football somewhere at the backyard, and all of a sudden someone like Ronaldo comes and joins them. Well, at the beginning they'll be super happy to play with such a huge football star on the same pitch, but soon they'll realize that Ronaldo is the only one who holds the ball, and they will not be able to get this ball back. It's not much of a game and it's not much fun when Ronaldo is the only guy who holds the ball. What can these school children do against Ronaldo? Well, not much, and most probably Ronaldo will win against all of them. I am not a football fan and I'm not a crypto expert, but to me this whole situation is pretty clear and logical. So let's look at the graph now and try to understand where we are right now and where we are moving in the nearest future. So the first phase is when the big institutions are dominating the supply, getting ready, accumulating the coins. This is it here. So this is what we saw until the end of 2020, and it goes back down further. It may take several months or several years until they are ready to start playing this little game here. The whole graph is divided into different phases. Phase A, the accumulation. Phase B is when they play the game and the price of Bitcoin hits all-time high all the time, all-time new, and then falls back down. And this whole part here is called the exhaust of demand. And think how you felt in the last several months when you started to think that 60 is an all-time high and is going to go even further. So you stopped to get excited by the 60 number. Also, you got used to the price of Bitcoin falling down to around 40, and it didn't motivate you to buy more because you thought that 40 is the price that's not high enough for Bitcoin. And an interesting thing is that these financial institutions that don't make money only when the price of Bitcoin rises, but they also make profits when it falls. So they set up their short positions every time the price of Bitcoin hits a peak, and then continue making money every time the price falls. So let's look at the last phase, D and E. At the beginning, when the price was staying for ages around 50,000 mark, people didn't know what to do. It seemed like it's another dip and it's gonna go up to 60 again, like it did several times in this phase. But it never did, and it kept on dropping, and we see now a huge drop, so we must be somewhere around here, although of course it is just a guess and no one will be able to tell you for sure. Another good question is how long this last phase may last. It may last several months or several years and no one will be able to tell you. But at the moment, as I'm filming this video, the price of one Bitcoin stays around 40,000 per coin. And I read a very interesting article that made my decision up yesterday to buy more cryptocurrency, and I'm gonna share it with you as well. Someone, an unknown whale, and whale is a big player in the market, a person or an organization that has just bought a lot of Bitcoin again. And as you see in this table, the number 4, which is an unknown person or an organization, owns 102,448 Bitcoins right now. And the transactions done on this address date back to early 2019, when Bitcoin was only $3,500 per coin. On April 19th, he invested more than 60 million to acquire nearly 12,000 coins. The same level of activity is seen throughout this period, and if you carefully look at the below table, you will understand the exact prices at which he bought. Here is the table, and we see that obviously in the entire year of 2019 he bought each and every Bitcoin for less than $10,000, and the same can be said in the early month of 2020. So obviously this person or this organization has some information and knows when the price is going to drop and when the price is going to go back up. I'm going to include the link to this article in the description box below this video. If we go a little bit lower and continue reading, this is what the article says. If you see the trade on the 9th of May, you can understand the price at which he sold a massive amount of his portfolio. When Bitcoin price fell from its all-time high to $58,000, he made a trade for 3,000 Bitcoin. In 10 days, he acquired 521 Bitcoins at a much lower price. This means that he added 500 plus Bitcoins during the time of the market dip. Whether this person is super lucky or whether he knows something, some insider's information, or he can just read the future, to me it doesn't matter. To me, all that's important is that this person obviously knows something that I don't, and to me yesterday this was an indicator that the price of Bitcoin will probably rise in the nearest future, and this is why I made a decision to buy more cryptocurrency. I would have bought more if I wasn't relying on this money and if I wasn't going through the process of the house purchase. But generally speaking, my strategy regarding crypto doesn't change, and I still believe in it in the future, and I still want to buy and hold. So please share your thoughts with me in the comment section below this video. I'll be really happy to read them. As from my side for today, that's it. Thank you very much for your time and thank you for watching this video. Bye bye.